All right, hello. Today I'm going to talk about leptin and leptin resistance. You could call this Leptin 101. I'm going to include enough information for that to be accurate, but this was a request from one of my clients to speak about leptin resistance. So first of all, leptin is a master hormone. I believe it is more important than insulin. It is overlooked widely, and I'm really grateful that we have done more research over the past couple of years. So leptin is something that I have definitely been interested for a long time, and I'm always keen to learn more about. Leptin signals your brain from your fat cells. So when you have high levels of leptin, it is signaling your brain that it has enough body fat and that you don't need to eat more. So leptin is our satiety hormone. It's what tells us to stop. And I experienced this dramatically when I went carnivore and I went through healing. My hormones healed, got my period back, blah, blah, blah. Something remarkable that I've not experienced in my whole life is you're just sitting down eating, and all of a sudden, just like that, you know you're done. Not because your stomach is stretched, not because you've been eating for a long time, not because you're counting calories, because your body tells you when you're done. That is leptin. And that is a beautiful thing, especially for people who have been stuck doing Weight Watchers or counting calories for a long time, and they've been on this roller coaster of weight loss and weight gain. You're never going to keep it down if you don't fix leptin. God literally created us with a built-in satiety mechanism, which is a weight optimization hormone. And so that's why when people eat the carnivore diet or an animal-based diet, they support their hormones, they support the body at a systemic level, and they're supporting leptin sensitivity, and leptin dictates whether they need to gain weight or lose weight. When someone is underweight, generally those people have low levels of leptin. It could be a very healthy person on a carnivore diet, doing all the things, sleeping at night, but if you have low levels of fat on your body, you are not producing enough leptin. Leptin is produced from your fat cells. And so I don't want people to automatically think that, oh, thin and fit people must have healthy leptin levels, because that's not necessarily true. I remember back before I went through everything on my own, I've mentioned before that I've worked with actually a relative of mine who will not be mentioned because they don't want to be mentioned, but they really introduced leptin to me. And I remember I was visiting with them. I was on this journey to gain healthy weight. I had been on Adderall for 13 years, really struggling. And I remember I gained a couple healthy pounds, and there was just more. My face started coming back. You know, when I gain weight, it definitely comes back in my face and my thighs, I would say, my hips. And I remember we took a picture together, and she said, "I think you're leptin sensitive." And I believe she was right. And that's all I'll say about that. But that was like my introduction of leptin. Like, it finally clicked. Like, I need to gain a healthy level of body fat to be leptin sensitive. And so I want to, first of all, bust that myth that if you're thin and fit, then you must have healthy leptin levels. That's not true. There are things that can also affect leptin. SIRS can affect your leptin levels. I've learned that recently. And so what causes leptin resistance? Poor sleep, poor diet, stress. Those three things generally are the main ones that cause leptin resistance. There are other things like SIRS and stuff like that that can cause leptin resistance or contribute to it. But in general, I definitely think poor sleep is a huge one. If you've ever not slept well, and then the next day you were really struggling with cravings, this has happened to me many times actually. One, it's because you're less insulin sensitive if you haven't slept enough, and two, it's because you're not as leptin sensitive. And so those two things are really important. If you're not as insulin sensitive, your blood sugars will be going like this, which will make you hungry more frequently. When it's on the downslope, it makes you hungry. False cravings right there, or false hunger, that is. Leptin resistance also basically means that you are constantly hungry. If you are someone who feels like you need to snack every 30 minutes, or you're just not satiable, you might be dealing with leptin resistance. How to fix leptin resistance? Correct the poor sleep, correct the poor diet, correct the poor stress management, or the cause of stress in your life. Another awesome way to reverse leptin resistance or just be leptin sensitive is exercise. So exercise not only is a eustress, which helps to combat the bad stress, which can contribute to leptin resistance, but exercise also changes adipocytes, which are the cells that store fat. Adipocytes, when exposed to catecholamines, release leptin. Catecholamines are increased during exercise. So exercise not only changes the adipocytes, the cells that store fat, but it also increases the catecholamines, which then contribute to increasing leptin sensitivity. So that is a great way to increase your leptin. Start eating better, start sleeping better. A lot of people who are chronically sick or chronically underweight, struggling to gain weight, deal with leptin resistance. For me, it was definitely, actually it was probably a matter of all of them. I had insomnia, I was underweight for a long time. Even before the CDiff, I was underweight for a while, and my stress was through the roof. It was crazy. So there's no question that I was leptin resistant, and I definitely struggled with binge eating for quite a while also. And I really used my head knowledge to try to push through it for a long time, but then after being treated in an eating disorder unit and being fed lies and brainwashed and traumatized, I really struggled, and I realized I'm gonna have to gain weight to get my life back. And so I started binging on keto treats. I get into that story in other videos, and I probably get into it in the very first intro video here. If you actually scroll back to my very first videos, I left the videos that I had here, and you can just see how sick I was. But it was the time that God was calling me to be a health coach, and I was still very sick. And so if you would like to see how far I've come, check those videos out. It was hard for me to keep those here. It's very humbling. So yeah, that is Leptin 101. What I want to make clear is that if you have leptin resistance, increasing leptin is not the answer. Increasing leptin sensitivity is the answer. More leptin is not always better. You want to be within a good range. It's a pretty wide range. It's from like 4 to 24 on a basic scale measurement when you're doing your leptin lab work, which is a pretty broad range. So address the things that are holding you back, and be sure to have a healthy amount of body fat on your body. If you have questions, leave them down below, and I would be happy to help you out with them. Have a great day. If you have leptins, leave them down below. Oh, I said if you have leptins. Oh my gosh. If you have... Whew. Hi you guys, so my fall retreat is more than halfway booked. I know that you guys may have already heard of it. We're gonna have a dream team of special guests. We have Ken Berry, Maria Emmerich, Kelly Hogan, Neisha Berry, and Lisa Wiedemann. So we're all gonna be together. This is gonna be invaluable fellowship, breakthroughs, learning, eating the highest quality, best, most delicious meats like Billy Doe meats, North Star bison. I'm gonna be making my carnivore treats, carnivore brownies, carnivore carrot cake, carnivore ice cream. And then of course we'll have Maria with us, so she's gonna do some cooking with us. It's gonna be so awesome. For those of you who don't do sweeteners, we will be with Emily Harveau and Kelly Hogan as well. They don't do sweeteners. Lisa doesn't do sweeteners, so we're gonna have options for everyone. It's just going to be absolutely incredible. So we're in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, October 11th through 16th. This is when the fall colors are peaking. The weather is phenomenal. If you're interested, please email me directly at rebecca@tailoredketo.health. I'll send you the information. I'll send you an invoice when you're ready to pay. The only way to reserve your spot is with payment, and then you'll be locked in. I hope to see you there.